everybody, welcome to Mentour, and I hope you're all doing fantastic as always. So, today I have a special treat for you. I am in Cambridge, in the lovely offices of Virtual Aviation, and I'm speaking to...
Holly, I'm Holly.
Holly. And what we're going to do today is I'm going to talk a little bit to Holly because she's a newly graduated ATPL student from which school?
Oxford Aviation Academy.
From Oxford Aviation. So I'm just going to be speaking to her a little bit, and I'll ask some of the questions that you guys have been posing. And so continue to do that. Continue to ask more questions if you have questions about flight schools and things like that. And I will try to find people like Holly to answer those questions for you. Okay. So, Holly, how did you decide on which flight school you wanted to go to?
There were several things I looked at. So I wanted to go to a school with a good reputation to start off with. I knew that their Oxford reputation kind of carried them quite a long time. They'd been going for so many years that a lot of people in the industry knew the name and knew the standard of training that came out of it. Okay. Also, I went to the academy and I did an open day and had a look around and actually chatted to some of the students who are there because, I mean, the students are there because they're not being paid to be there, they are there because they want to be there, they want to help out. So they're the ones that give you the best knowledge about what's going to happen there, how they feel about the academy, and they'll be brutally honest with you.
Oh, great. So going to open days is a good idea to do.
Great idea.
Okay, good. Were you looking at any other schools?
Yeah, I looked at several. I looked at Mentour and I looked at CTC, but I had always been quite set on Oxford itself, so that's why I ended up there. So
were you, like, cut straight to the point, were you happy with the training?
I was really happy, yeah, I was really happy with the training. I had great students in my class and great teachers throughout. The ground school was impeccable, and my training, I actually did all my training in England, so my teachers which I had were actually MPL instructors for EasyJet, so they did really, really great training throughout. Okay,
very good. What else? The facilities you said they were really good. The financial part of it, this is something that most of my viewers are always asking me about. Mm-hmm. So how did you manage to, because how much did it cost, the course?
So my course costed £79,000. Okay. I believe it's now 84,000 last time I looked it up. So obviously it's going up. The finance thing is quite a delicate subject between a lot of people. Myself, I was quite lucky. I had family that supported me through it, and I managed to get a family loan, which I'm paying back now. Okay. But I lived with 4 housemates, and all of them got loans. They got their loans through BBVA, which there kind of is a bank which is used to giving loans out for doing your training and going even to do type rate training as well. Okay. You have to secure it usually, I believe, against a property of some sort. So you need to obviously have family.
So there needs to be a family that backs up the loan.
Absolutely.
Do you know if they do these kind of loans to people outside of the UK, or if it's only a UK?
They do. I think they've got Spain. I'm not entirely sure other countries, but I know there's definitely 2 or 3 other countries which they're expanding into, and I think they're looking to move further afield. Okay.
How long did the training last?
A year and a half. It can be 16 months-ish. Mine was slightly longer because, like I said, I didn't go to America, so we were held up over the winter months in the UK for bad weather and continuity. Okay. So it meant that it was slightly drawn out. However, I think that the bad weather side of it is more realistic.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. Did you have a choice to go to America, or?
We did, yes. We had a choice. Normally, everyone goes to America, but they wanted a few people to stay to try a few bits in the UK, and I took that opportunity up. I thought it might help me later on for the instrument rating, doing the bad weather and knowing the area a bit better and things like that. Okay.
What aircraft types were you flying?
So I started off on the Cessna 182, then I did my CPL on the Seneca 2, and ended up on the Seneca 5 for my instrument rating. Okay, very good.
So you obviously did the integrated course.
I did, yes.
Okay. Did you have any classmates or anything that did the modular course?
So my whole class was all integrated. However, when I got onto the MCC and job period for the 3 weeks at the end, my flight partner was a modular student.
Okay, good. So did he say anything about how long his training had taken?
No, he seemed quite happy. He said that he got through it quite quickly, and he was happy with how the training had gone for him.
Okay.
And he was really good throughout our final weeks together, so it was a good partner to have.
Very good. Now, for the magical questions, do you know or how has it gone for people that's graduated from your school when it comes to finding jobs in airlines?
Sure. For example, there's 5 of us that are in a house together, and 2 have already got jobs.
Okay.
The other 3 of us are in the process of applying at the moment, but hopefully we'll find out something in the next couple of days. My flight partner, who was modular, he's just got a job as well a couple of days ago, so that's really good.
And that is with very low hours, I presume, because you're just graduated.
Yes. Yep, no hours whatsoever. So these were coming straight out of doing the MCC and JOC and going to airlines and them taking them as cadets sometimes or fully fledged first officers and our building there.
Okay, so this obviously for you who are watching in America is a bit of a difference between Europe and America, because in America you will need 1,500 hours unless you go to one of these FAA approved universities before you can apply to an airline. But here in Europe there are airlines who are in a great need of first officers, and they will actually pick people like Holly with very, very low experience but with very good training and take them straight into their cadet programs. And then they will start off normally as first officers, second officers, or first officers, and then work through the career upwards. But it is possible to go out and get a job even if you have very, very low experience, and that's something that I wanted to point out.
That's it.
Good. Is there anything else that you would like? Because there's a lot of my viewers who really want to become pilots, and they're looking at different flight schools and stuff. Is there any tips that you thought, while you're doing your training, I should have thought about that?
Sure. I just think that make sure that you go to a school which is reputable. They know that they're going to have good training. My school actually, they did a skills guarantee. So if you ended up getting halfway through, after you've done your aptitudes to get in, they guarantee the fact that you should be able to pass all the training. But if halfway through you were having issues and it wasn't looking like you were going to be able to pass, then they gave like a money back guarantee.
For the whole sum?
For the whole sum bar your deposit, which I think was £5,000.
Okay.
So that's for the whole sum, which it makes, if you've got a guarantee, something like that, it kind of makes you feel a bit more confident with the training in the school, because they're not going to just pull you in for the money. They're going to actually make sure you're up to a set standard to start off with, which is good.
Yeah.
So the aptitude tests at the beginning are definitely interesting.
Which is a good thing that I wanted to talk about as well, because the only way that a school can make that kind of guarantee is because they've done aptitude testing before they accept you. So how were the tests?
They were quite challenging. They're a mixture. They're always changing and evolving throughout the schools. So it's everything from basic physics, basic maths, GCSE level should be fine. You don't need to go anything further advanced. Hand-eye coordination. We actually had a sim test. It wasn't looking for perfection, because obviously the people who were going in there might not have had any flying experience whatsoever. So they're just looking for learning. They want to make sure that you've got the capacity to learn. If whoever you go in with will say, oh, you need to be doing this next time, they'll do it the whole process again and make sure that you're improving each time. Yes, the hand-eye coordination and also multitasking. There's a lot of exercise in multitasking. They do personality tests and questionnaires, team exercises, so you'll be there with 4 or 5 other people, but everyone always worries about those, but there's an unlimited number of spaces to normally get into these places. So you're not up against this other person, so you should work together as a team throughout that and make sure that you're showing kind of your good teamwork skills.
Yeah.
Everyone can get in. So.
And that's kind of a good tip for your entire career, guys, when you go up. You will always have to work as a team. No matter what exercise you're in, you will never be pitted against anyone else. It's always going to be, they will always be looking at you doing a good job as a team player. It's really important to remember. You were saying that you didn't need any higher level education than GCSEs.
Yeah.
But I've been looking into this a little bit, and there's a few of the airlines are asking for A levels as well.
They are. Yes, so a lot of the airlines, especially for sponsorship schemes, it's normally A levels and above. I believe that Virgin are doing a sponsorship scheme where it was below, you could go from GCSEs, however I'm not sure whether that is the case at the moment. But all of the others I believe are A levels and above. And also having a high level of education, it sometimes makes you more appealing to the airline. They like to see that you maybe done maths, and they like to see you've done physics or things like that. And if you've got a degree, a lot of people look on that as well, even if it's not actually in the industry. They just see that you're kind of committed and you've shown that you've been able to commit to this work.
Now that is a good point. I've always been saying, and everyone who asks if they need to do a degree as well, and I always say that if you have the possibility and the capability to do so, it's a good idea to do for that reason. But also, like Colin is saying, the airlines are looking at you when they're taking you on for a sponsored scheme, for example, or a cadet scheme. They want to know that you are able to learn a lot of things during a fairly short amount of time. And you having done a degree will be showing them that you've done that in the past as well. So I definitely recommend you, if you can, I can afford it obviously, to do that if it's possible, because it will open up more doors,
It
basically.
does, yeah, absolutely.
What else about housing and things like that? Do you have to find your own housing, or?
So at the academy you could go into their kind of equivalent of halls, which you'd have at university, where you're provided with a room and there's communal facilities and things like that. I actually decided to get a house outside of the academy just because I thought every now and then you might need to have that time away from the airport. Also, by living with 4 other people who are on my course, it meant that we could easily study together in the evenings, because the ground school, obviously 7 months of it, is very, very intense. And if there was something which I didn't understand, a couple of my housemates would definitely be able to understand it, and vice versa. So it was easier to work together when you had that communal space, which was your own as well.
Good. What about the mathematics skills? Because I know a lot of the guys are asking about what kind of mathematics skills you need. What would you say? You know, was there anything you felt you were lacking, or what kind of level of mathematics you need?
I think as long as you can get up to your GCSE levels to a good standard, that level is good. You need to be able to do mental maths fairly quickly. Doing your times table up to about 20 times tables is always good to have, so you've got the numbers off the back of your head. Otherwise, just speed, distance, time, calculations. It just helps speed up the process throughout. Throughout ground school, I remember you have to do quite a lot of algebra, and there's equations that you have to be able to, so having that background is definitely going to help you.
Good. So to recap, a little bit of algebra, a little bit of equations, quite good, like times 20, up to the times 20, times tables, things like that. So this is not the kind of rocket science maths, but it's definitely, you know, medium maths.
Yeah, absolutely.
But GCSEs is a UK term, so
it is. Oh yeah, sure.
Trying to
definitely, yeah.
For the rest of the world, that would be what we just said.
Sure.
Algebra, equations.
That's it, yeah, trigonometry,
things like that. Very good. Anything else you would like to tell the audience?
Oh, I don't know. It's really good fun. I've not regretted doing my training whatsoever. I think it's probably...
You thought it was fun throughout?
Yeah, ground school was intense, always a bit rocky, but once it was over, you kind of realise how much it's helped you throughout, and when you get flying, it's brilliant. So I definitely can't think of anything better.
Excellent. And on that note, we'll just finish this off, guys. If you have more questions to Holly, I will be able to send her questions for this, and you probably have some classmates that I can get in contact with as well.
Yeah.
Good. So, guys, I hope this has answered some of your questions. I hope, as always, that you're doing fantastic. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.